your course is already accredited by the Engineers Australia, then you can simply use the your qualification and transcript to apply the skill assessment. Then I'm definitely sure you will get the positive outcome from the EA. Okay, let's move to the next. The pathway. Yeah, next stream. So we call the Washington Accord stream. Washington Accord means this assessment is for the people who complete the course in Australia or outside of the Australia. So to understand about this stream, we must know about what is the Washington Accord. So let's move to the next slide to talk about the Washington Accord. So the Washington Accord is kind of the curriculum, make it simple. So this is designed by the Engineering Association. Then they share all the foundation knowledge and skills. So the university who offering the course based on the Washington Accord means their curriculum and then teaching knowledge and skills are similar because it is designed by the Washington Accord. So the Engineers Australia also accept this Washington Accord. So means if you find your university and your course is followed by the Washington Accord, then you can simply using your the qualification and transcript, then apply your skills assessment based on the Washington Accord. So how you can find whether your course and your university is accredited by the Washington Accord. So again, then I showed your website. So you can simply come into this Washington Accord website, and then left-hand side, you can see the menu. Then if you click this menu, then you can also see the list. So maybe let's move to the next slide. Yep. Yeah, see, then you can see the university, each country, and if you click the certain country link, then you can find that the university, college, and then the course information in that certain country. But most of Latin American students may not find their country name except Peru or some countries.
Brazil.
This is because the most of Latin country, from my side, my experience, that I realized that they are not following the Washington Accord, but they use their own curriculum.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't mean that's bad or this is good, but just the stream and the accord is different. So they are slightly different curriculums. Okay, so the next slide, if we find that your course and your qualification, your major is accredited by the Washington Accord, and then we can simply use the Washington Accord stream on the EA skill assessment, and then the process is not complicated, and you can simply apply the skill assessment based on your study. Then you will get the positive outcome as well.
Okay.
Okay, the next one, and then the last, the most difficult one is, see, you haven't completed your qualification in Australia, then we cannot use the first Australian qualification stream. And then you couldn't find your country and then your university and your major on the Washington Accord website. Then what's the next? Can I still apply the skill assessment as an engineer? Yes, you can do, but you should take the last option, which we call CDR process.
Yes.
Okay, let's a little bit talk more about the CDR process. All right. Yeah, the CDR process is based on your qualification and work experience as well. So again, the Engineers Australia, they already check everything about the Australian university curriculum. So that's why they have their own accredited course list. So if your university and your major is under their accredited course list, it's very simple because Engineers Australia already checked everything. So you can go through the application and you will get a positive outcome. But Engineers Australia cannot check all the university and all the courses all over the world. So that's why they decide to accept Washington Accord. So if your university and your department and major are accredited by the Washington Accord, then you can use our second options, which is Washington Accord stream. Then we can simply apply the skill assess and then get a positive outcome. But the Engineers Australia still want to give the opportunity for the people who don't follow the Washington Accord and who didn't study in Australia. But it's very hard to give the individual assessment about the curriculum because they must contact the university, they must have all the course outline of each subject. It's impossible. How they contact every single university all over the world. So that's why they actually created the CDR process. So they may not really see all the curriculum very detailed, but they want to find whether you can be a qualified engineer or not through your work experience. So the people who want to apply the skill assessment through the CDR process, they must have relevant work experiences. So based on work experience, as you can see, they must provide 3 career episodes. It should be from the employment, your work experience, and you have to demonstrate how you meet professional engineers requirement and how you take the responsibility and tasks which professional engineer required. So on the career episode, you have to mention everything, what you did and what you learned and how it is helpful for your career opportunity. So you write down all the career episode, but you must provide 3 different project base. So if you have 1 year maybe experience, it will be very hard you can produce 3 career episodes as you may not involve any different 3 projects. But I have a case that my client involved a big project while they are studying the engineer, then still engineering Australia accepted.
Okay.
But again, if you have 1 or 2 year experience, it might be difficult to pass the skills. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but you still have a very quite strong work experience and you actively involved in any, the project during your employment. Yes, you can still go through the skill assessment through the CDR stream, then you can definitely can pass the skill assessment as well.
Okay.
Again, the CDR process is quite different. Many people believe skill assessment from the EA is quite easy. Yes, it's not difficult because if you pass the skill assessment through the Australian qualification stream and the Washington course, because those 2 streams, Engineers Australia already checked and accepted all the curriculum. So that's why they don't really want to see the very detailed information of the course. But if you can use those 2 streams, the last option, CDR, it's not easy at all. It's very complicated, and you should provide as detailed as possible about how you can be, how you have done your work experience in specific engineering occupation. It's very important. It's your responsibility to demonstrate and provide evidence of that you take those responsibility during the project. So the career episode, if you decide to go through CDR, you must clearly check the skill assessment guidebook and then provide a very detailed and strong 3 separate career episodes. Then definitely you can still pass the skill assessment. We already have many cases that students pass the skill assessment through the CDR process.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
So that's why I'm saying that Diego yesterday, I couldn't say, oh, you can go to the permanent visa preparation or not, because he completed the bachelor degree, even 5 years, but it's not the Australian qualification.
No.
It's not a Washington Accord stream. So that's why he had to demonstrate 3 different career episodes. Then EA decide whether he can become a qualified engineer or not in terms of the migration purpose.
Yep.
Maybe he can be an engineer in Australia without the skill assessment, but what I'm saying now to you is in terms of the migration purpose and visa purpose, then the skill assessment must be completed by the engineers of Australia. So I recommended Diego to provide a very detailed resume, what he done during his study about the engineering project, also his work experience. Then based on those information, maybe I can recommend him to produce the CDR report and then career episode report, then he can apply and still get a positive outcome later on. So now, if you understand about the importance of the skill assessment, then you may know you can pass or you cannot pass the skill assessment. Then if you can pass, what can be your visa option? If you cannot pass, what can be your visa option?
Exactly.
So from now on, I maybe a little bit talk about the visa options for you. Previous slide, sorry, yeah, so if you have received the positive skill assessment outcome from your EA skill assessment, definitely you have 6 different visa options. So this is a visa option. It doesn't mean you can apply for the visa. I mean, the available visa option doesn't mean you can apply and granted the visa. Just you pass the skill assessment. So based on your skill assessment, you can prepare and then try to meet the other requirement of each visa sector. Then you can finally have a chance to apply the visa. So maybe last week that we explained about the 6 different visa options. For the skilled visa section, definitely 189, 190, 491 will be the good visa option. And then for the employer sponsorship side, then still TSS visa, 186 visa, 494 visa will be the key issue. However, I really want to say that, let's say you pass the skill assessment through your overseas qualification, like Diego yesterday. Let's assume that he passed everything. He got a CDR report, and he provided, and he passed he got a positive outcome from the EA. Then can he apply for those visas? No, because again, each visa has a different requirement. He just passed the skill assess. But about those 6 visas, the common thing is you must have certain experience to apply. So simply for the employer sponsor visa, even though you from the university which is accredited, even though you pass the skill assess and your qualification is accepted by the Australian government, doesn't matter. TSS visa required 2 years experience, ENS visa required 3 years experience, something like that. So now Diego not thinking about how he can prepare those visa requirements for each individual visa. Again, common requirement will be the work experience. Then how we can get a work experience?
That's a big question.
It's a big question, right? So that's the main thing that I usually talk a lot with my client from the Latin America and Brazil and certain Asian country and then North Europe as well. So maybe we can go through the next page. Then you can see again how to have a visa with full-time work condition, because most of the experience requirement is based on the full-time work experience.
Yes.
But a lot of our clients and students, they have the student visa. Then student visa doesn't give you the full-time position. And the engineering occupation, it is very hard to have only 20 hours work. They don't actually giving those kind of job contract normally. So the important thing is how you have the visa which give you the full-time work, right? So a lot of students study again to apply the graduation visa. So many people apply the diploma of leadership management, diploma of business, diploma of digital marketing. That's good for your learning, but those courses not giving you the graduation visa opportunity later. So that's why I recommend the students to study certain different courses which allow you to apply the graduation visa. And then the other option is, I don't know why, but a lot of Latin American students come with their partner. Or they come as a single, but they marry here and they become a couple.
Yes.
So many of my clients that if, let's say, Diego has the girlfriend, and then Diego already passed the skill assessment from the EA, then Diego is now looking to the job opportunity to meet a certain requirement. Then he realized that he need certain visa which give him a full-time work right. So he come back to me and then discuss visa option, but he doesn't want to study again, but he has his girlfriend. We found that his girlfriend has the bachelor degree in home country as well. So his girlfriend decided to study master course in Australia. I know many people scared, master course very expensive. Very expensive. I understand totally. I complete the master degree in Australia as well. Then I understand it's very expensive. However, if the girlfriend, Diego, let's say Diego's partner is studying the master degree in Australia, then Diego will have the full-time working right. So let's say 2 years master degree, during 2 years, Diego have a full-time working right. And then from that 2 years, while the partner is studying, Diego will make money and try to obtain the relevant work experience to prepare the future visas. So I know, I understand it costs a lot, but I believe it is kind of the effective investment. It's not applied for the everyone, but I'm just explaining you about the things. So the people who complete the course and then skill assessment with the positive outcome, they have to think about how we can obtain the visa which allow me to work full time. And then try to find a job and then start. But let's say if my skill assessment is not completed, means I got a negative skill assessment outcome, what I can do. So again, in this PPT, clearly I made a very big X for the skilled visa because that skilled visa always requires the skill assessment. So if your skill assessment outcome is negative, but you cannot apply to any skilled visa. But again, still, if you find the employer and if they provide the sponsorship to you, you can apply for the sponsor visa if you have a certain experience to apply those visa. But again, let's say if you just complete the course and have a very small and limited experience, then how the engineering company provides you the sponsorship? In reality, it's very hard to expect. So the opportunity will be the very limited. And then maybe let's go to the next page.
I would like to tell our viewers, if you have any questions, just please text us through the little square that you have over there. We will answer questions at the end of our presentation.
And then if I got a negative outcome, then I cannot apply the skill assessment and I cannot apply for the employer sponsorship. That's what I can do. So again, I have to think about another study, right? I don't want to study, then I think no opportunity, then you should just extend the visa, then go back to your home country. But if you ask us about the opportunity to apply the permanent residency, then I can guide you. So there is no option, and then your possibility is very limited because your skill assessment is negative. Then you have to study again. So study again means that if you still want to stay with the engineering occupation, then you better go back to the EA, Engineers Australia homepage, and find the university and accredited course list. Then apply those university and complete, then automatically you can successfully complete the skill assessment because it's under the accredited course list.
Yep.
But engineering too expensive and I'm not interested in about being an engineer. Then what else you can do? Then you have to find the another course which allow you to the permanent residency. So to tell the truth, one Brazilian students, I met him around 4 years ago, 3 years ago. He has just keep extended his visa with the Cambridge course, IELTS course, and the business course. But he really want to invest the money, but really want to get the permanent residency. That's my job to guide him. Then he was an engineer in Brazil. He graduated from very good university with outstanding result, but he couldn't make anything in here. So he decided to apply another course. Then we discussed, but he is the man, but he applied the nursing.
Oh.
And then last month he got a PR because he has bachelor degree in home country, so he studied only 2 year nursing course and applied extend to his graduation visa and then passed the skill assess as a nurse and then applied a permanent visa and then he finally get a permanent visa.
Wow.
Like this, a lot of students also asking me to change their career. Then there are many different occupation options to PR. So if you are the case that you want to discuss about the individual occupation and then permanent visa possibility, you always contact me. If you feel free to contact us and then Alexander or our team, then we can guide you and then provide more detailed information about each occupation.
Yep.
So this is what I talked just now. So if you really want to stay with the engineering occupation, that's you should think about the study accredited course or related course, or if you are okay, or if you don't want to be an engineer again, then you find another course option to study.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's say if you study again, okay, if you study again, what happened to you? What happened to you? Then if you study again, definitely we will guide you to study certain regional area or something like that. Then you have 2 years study and then another 3 to 4 year graduation visa. So you will have another 6 years in Australia. During 6 years, you clearly understand about the migration policy and current trend, and then you are getting prepared about those things, then I'm definitely sure that you still have opportunities. And then maybe currently a lot of couple come, then wife try to ask the wife or husband to study, but main applicant be a dependent. Let's think about it. If the primary applicant study master course, and then partner can have 2 years full-time work right during the master, and then graduation visa will be 3 to 4 years, which means his full-time work right will be 5 years,
Yes.
4 years, and can be 6 years up to. Then for the 6 years full-time visa, whatever he can make all the experience for the visa, because ENS visa, the employer sponsor visa requires 3 years experience, and TSS sponsor visa, employer sponsor visa requires only 2 years. But you have 6 years visa with the full-time working right. You can do whatever you want. But I'm not talking to you. It's easy, but still many people struggling to have the visa to work. But at least you have those, the visas for 4 to 6 years. So I highly recommend you to plan well and move on to the next step. So the first step, summarize for today's topic. The first thing you have to check is whether you can pass the skill assessment or not.
Yep.
So if you from near Latin America, Brazil, Colombia, Peru is Washington, and the Mexico and Argentina, and then you may thinking about to go through the CDR process. For the CDR process, you must have the work experience or very strong the evidence of the career episode. So that's why if you cannot make it, then there is a high possibility you get a negative outcome from the EA. Then what's next? If you have a positive outcome, thinking about how you get the work experience. Because most of the visa in Australia for the PR require the work experience. And then if you got a negative outcome, then what is? Whether you're going to stick with the engineering occupation or change it to the another occupation. Change it to another occupation or stick with the engineering, that's okay, but highly recommend study in the regional area. Then you will have a 2-year study or 4-year study or 3-year study, then another 2 to 4 years graduation visa, which give you the full-time work permit. So based on this one, you will have all the opportunity, then you can move on to the step by step. Then finally, I think still you have a lot of chance to get the PR as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, we have some questions now.
Yep.
In case that I could validate my work experience from overseas with Engineers Australia, can I skip the part of studying in Australia and apply for PR straight away?
So this is the what I mentioned. Then you pass the skills and you got a positive outcome. Then what you can do? The only visa stream without work experience maybe 189 skilled independent visa. But what happened to the skilled independent visa now? The skilled independent visa require you to have a 95 point.
Yeah.
And 100 point. Then you haven't studied in Australia and your point is less than students who complete the study in Australia, right? Then it is competition, but it's less. You will have the less chance to have a higher point than them. Means you have a less chance to get the invitation to apply the visa. So yes, you can do theoretically, but in reality, the chance is very low.
Yeah. So you would recommend to study for a better opportunity to get a PR.
So Diego yesterday also believed he can apply for the visa if he passed the skill assessment, but he now realized it's really difficult now.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. The other question says, how is the job demand of engineering in Australia? Would it be difficult to get a job as an engineer in Australia?
Oh, I say yes.
Yeah.
The engineer's occupation is quite strong in Australia, and then still shortage. That's true, but they always try to find the qualified people.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the regional area, maybe you will have a chance. And then I better recommend to use a job agency first. There are not many companies direct hiring and giving you the full-time position at the moment.
Yeah.
But again, some regional area, I have many clients to get a job in certain regional area, but most of them using the job agency.
Yeah. So which major you would recommend to study? Which one is that has the most demand?
From my side, the civil engineer. Civil engineer was the popular occupation, and then many students made a positive outcome for the PR as well.
Yeah.
And then next one is mechanical as well. But the getting a job as a mechanical engineer is quite harder than civil engineer.
Yes.
So yeah, from my side, I recommend the civil.
Yeah. Okay. Will Soul Migration recommend which cities or states have the most possibility to get a PR as engineer?
So I don't want to say the specific state, but if you find at least the regional area, you still can move on to the smoothly for the next step. Let's say the Tasmania and Northern Territory and maybe New South Wales. If you complete just a 2 years course and then pass the skill, you will have passed the skills, you will have a chance to apply at least the 491 or 190 skill state nomination, because those state nomination requirement for the 190 or 491 is just completing course in their regional area. So those things is very important you to understand before you decide destination of your study. So that's why what we provide you is after we provide the counseling and then we found your interest, then we analyze each state and then universities and give the best option for you. So some students are not confident to get a job, then might be move on to the certain state, which give the direct state nomination opportunity through the completing the course.
Okay. It says, I just finished high school and want to go to Australia and start the profession over there as an engineer and get PR at some point. Which way could be the shortest plan for me to get PR as an engineer, and how long will it take?
So if you just complete the high school, then wow, you still have many time to prepare. But again, the same thing happen, then you contact me, then we can design your study plan. But the most important, when I was in the education counselor, I was generally focused on the university ranking, and then popular city, and then reputation of the university. Then my client happy about my information, they accept and enroll the university. But again, still, some of the students does not care about the migration opportunity, but they more like to enroll the very good university. I understand, and then, but most of the clients, because I'm the migration agent, they contact me to get a permanent visa solution, right? So in those cases, I give the migration plan first and then study plan.
Yes.
After study plan, if I design migration plan, it's gonna be a bit difficult. Because the start point is different than my expectation. So I always provide the migration plan first, then provide the study plan to meet the migration plan requirement. So that's why I recommend maybe you can study for the engineering course at the university, but in regional area, then still again, we can talk and we can find a better city and better university for your case.
Perfect, that's great. And the very popular question in the Latin American community, I am an industrial engineer and I'm studying certificate for and diploma of project management. Can I apply for the 45 visa?
I recommend the certificate for no, but well, maybe I'm wrong. I can be wrong because I don't have many cases about this one. But as far as I understand for the migration law, if you study diploma and advanced diploma for 2 years, you can still meet the study requirement. And then if this course is related with your engineers in the background, and you can pass skill assessment, if you can pass the skill assessment based on your home country qualification as an industrial engineer, yes, I can say there is no restriction to apply the graduation visa. But again, you have to pass the skill assessment through the engineer.
That's the important part.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Because the project management and engineering occupation is, I believe, closely related. For certificate 4, I don't recommend.
Okay,
it's
perfect.
not.
Kate has some more questions for you.
Yeah, so this one, I understand that you already talked about the CDR, but the question is, can I do this CDR if I do not have experience in my occupation? Could you please just be clear again for them to understand this?
Again, I cannot say you can't apply CDR process if you don't have the work experience, but the CDR process requirement is you have to provide at least 3 career episodes. So again, if during your university study, you joined very big project, engineering project, and you took your role was the engineer, and then your responsibility and task is equivalent to the engineer, then they will consider it as a work experience. But I'm not sure during your study you have more than 3 different projects or not. Most university doesn't have that much project going on. So, but again, if you have joined 3 different projects during your study, then those role and responsibility is meeting the EA criteria, then yes, you can produce a career episode based on your experience at the project, then you can still apply and then possibly can pass.
Yeah, so what you said was that even they don't have the work experience but have do the placement with the university, they can, for 3 projects above, they can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So I also have the next question. It the case is that I am offshore and I just graduated from university as a civil engineer. Would you recommend getting experience in my country or go to Australia to study a postgraduate, or possible get experience in Australia?
I think that if you are planning to get a permanent residency in Australia, if you do something in your home country, I think your possibilities is getting less. It's very obvious. Like back in 5 to 10 years ago, if you are qualified in a professional occupation, and then if you have a higher English skill and your experience is validated by the Australian government, you still have the chance about the 189 visa and something like that. But engineer, again, it's very hard to get the sponsorship from the overseas experience rather than like IT occupation. So that's why you anyway come to Australia, have a full-time work right visa, and then get a job in Australia as a civil engineer, then you will have a many visa options like 190 and something like that. And then also, if you come to me for another master degree study, I mean postdoc study, then you can automatically meet the state nomination requirement. So with that state nomination requirement, you can apply for some state nomination related visa as well later on. So now the current issue is whether you have the more and more visa option at the end or not. So if you are in your home country, I don't think you have any visa options.
Yeah.
If you have, then less possibility. But if you come to Australia and then study and work in Australia, then you have more and more. I show you at least 6 different visa options later on.
So to summary is like basically the student that is overseas could have some options of visas, but coming to Australia like basically extends the options. So if you come to Australia and do some of the things that Nam already recommend, you can have more options for a PR later according if you meet every requirement. Yep.
And this one, I think this one can apply to any other occupation as well. So the question is that, can I get a PR even if I have never worked in this field?
Yes, still yes. I can say yes, but hard. Because I can see during my over 10-year experience, I can see very obvious 2 things. Even though many things change in the migration policy, those 2 things never changed. The first thing, they are emphasized on the English skill. So higher English skill people can have a higher chance. So that's why for the English point in the migration point system, they have a 10-point gap in between those. So means I have a higher English point, have 10 points higher than other people. So it's a competition, right? So English is very important. And the second one is work experience. The work experience point is just 5 points. However, many skilled nominated visa, especially state nomination, they all require you to currently working in their occupation.
Yes.
Queensland, Victoria, South Australia, and maybe Western Australia and ACT, the area, Australia capital city, they give the more point for the people who work in there. So that's it's very clear that if you don't work, then you have a less chance, because this is competition. This is competition. She's work, I don't work. We will apply together. Who's gonna be selected? She's gonna be selected.
Yep. That's all the questions. Well, that's all the questions, Namu.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for helping us with this. I'm pretty sure if we have more questions, please just let us know, me and we will pass to Namo if it's a question that we cannot answer. And then obviously, if you need help to apply for a PR here in Australia and you need to learn how to do it, you can actually book an appointment with Namo, and Namo will help you to get there. So if you have any questions or anything, just text us or maybe send an email to us or to your consulate, and we will help you with that. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much, Namo, for helping us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.